Hello and welcome to Clinton's Corner. My name is Clinton John and thanks again for joining me, guys. Must confess, this video is going up a little bit later than perhaps usual. That's because, again, load shedding on my side. Usually when I record, it's a lot earlier than this, but yeah, rather late than never. So before I get into this week's sports action, just hit that like button, hit that notification button to get all the latest from Clinton's Corner and the Fair Digest. Also, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the Fair Digest YouTube channel, as well as the Fair Digest online magazine, thefairdigest.com. So, straight into things then. Let's start off with a little bit of Super Rugby action. So, week 2 of Super Rugby, and one thing I did when I was reviewing games for the magazine online, when I was writing reviews, was my pick of the week. So Jarman's pick of the week this week was the Sharks versus the Highlanders. Highly entertaining game, guys. I watched this game from start to finish, and the Sharks continued winning ways as they led. They had the dominant first half, scoring 3 tries. Makazole Mapimpi grabbing his brace in the first half. Sharks led 27-3 at half time. Second half, and the Sharks had to fight off a little bit of a fight back from the Highlanders, as the Highlanders came out with a point to prove. But in the end, the Sharks managed to stave off that fight back, and the victory was quite comfortable, with Apelele Fasi getting a second half brace as well. So the Sharks look in great form, guys. That bodes well for them, and obviously for South African rugby in general. Players that stood out for me in this game: Kerwin Bosch. I thought he was excellent, especially off the kicking tee. Mapimpi, obviously, with the two finishes, the extraordinary finisher that he is. One to watch out for, Apelele Fasi, the weekend special, as the Khoza commentators call him. And he was special this weekend. Outstanding performance from him, and he's only growing from strength to strength. And then the two new boys in the Sharks team, Madosh Tamboy and Skumbuza Noche, also had outstanding games, and they combined well for the Sharks this week. So great performance from them. Then in other Super Rugby encounters, the Lions, they took on the Reds, and the Lions managed to get their first win of the season, 27-20. First win for the Lions. Although I think you can't read too much into this win, because I watched a little bit of the game, and both sides were pretty. It wasn't the easiest game to watch. And I understand the conditions probably weren't the best, but yeah, I just think you can't read too much into that victory. I don't think the Reds are going to be too good this season, as well as the Lions. And then the Stormers, they won 13-0 over the Bulls. Now, Stormers continue their good start, and they haven't conceded a single try yet in the 2 games. But yeah, it was tough to watch on Saturday at times. Again, both teams scratching around for form, lots of mistakes, drop balls. The Bulls lacking in attack, just no creativity, no spark there for them. Stormers, they showed signs with Damien Willemse. They showed signs with Sebele Senatla, Dylan Lates, that they're piecing something together slowly. But the Bulls, they need an injection of something. They haven't scored a try yet this season. The Stormers started well. One thing though, Damien Willemse needs to concentrate on his kicking. I think he only got 1 or 2 kicks on Saturday, and that could have been a massive difference, because that 13 I counted, they left about another 13, 14 points, 15 points on the field there. So that's the difference between a bigger margin of victory and points difference. So yeah, the Stormers need to, although they're not playing well, they're picking up wins, which bodes well for them. The Bulls not playing well, not winning. It's going to be a long, hard season if they continue to play the way they are. Okay, right. Sticking in South Africa, Momentum One Day Cup. The Titans, they beat the Warriors over the weekend. This was the results from the weekend. Titans beat the Warriors by 5 wickets. The Cobras, they beat the Dolphins by 5 runs by the Duckworth-Lewis method. That was a close one there. And then the Lions, they beat the Cobras by 49 runs. And the Knights lost to the Warriors by 50 runs. So that's the results over the weekend. Next week I will bring you results and have a look at the logs, as we'll be, I think, 4 or 5 games in. Okay, then just moving abroad, some NBA action for you guys. In the Eastern Conference, the Milwaukee Bucks, they still lead the way there. They won their last game 111-95 over the Orlando Magic. They sit now with a 45-7 record. Then in second place, the Toronto Raptors, they won their last game 119-118 over the Brooklyn Nets. And they have now a 39-15 record. Then it is the Boston Celtics. They also won their last game against the OKC Thunder. And they won 12-111, another close game. And they sit now with a 37-15 record. And then the Miami Heat, they lost their last game. They sit in 4th place and they lost their last game. And they lost their last game 115-109 to the Trailblazers, the Portland Trailblazers, and they have a 34-18 record now. Then just moving to the Western Conference, the LA Lakers, they still sit atop the Western Conference, and they won their last game 125-120 to the Warriors. They have a 39-12 record. Then the Clippers, they absolutely smashed the Cleveland Cavaliers 133-92, and they sit in second place with a 37-16 record. Then the Denver Nuggets in third place, also with a 37-16 record. They won their last game over the Phoenix Suns 117-108. And then in 4th place in the Western Conference is the Utah Jazz, and they won their last game over the Rockets 114-113, and they have a 34-18 record. Okay, so the NBA, that is starting to pick up steam now. Usually after the trade deadline, that is where you see teams piece together the teams that they want, the teams that they think that they can make a run at a championship with. So stay tuned for more from that. We'll obviously bring it all to you on Clinton's Corner. Then there was a big fight in the UFC over the weekend. Quite a stacked card, actually. A few fighters in this UFC 247 that I wanted to see. The big man Derek Lewis started it all off after the prelims, and he was pretty good in his win. And then obviously there was Valentina Shevchenko, who absolutely annihilated her opponent once again. I can't even remember her opponent's name, to be honest. But yeah, she annihilated her once again. And then obviously the big one, John Bones Jones versus Dominic Reyes. Now, John Jones is arguably the greatest UFC fighter that we've ever seen. But Dominic Reyes comes in, without fear, without knowing about a championship fight before, and that sometimes is dangerous. And it looked pretty dangerous as Reyes probably won the first 2 rounds. Rounds 1 and 2, definitely, he was putting it on John, and John pretty much had no answer. John was trying to control the opening rounds, but he just couldn't. Dominic Reyes was putting up a very good pace, and it looked as if John couldn't keep up. And then in the 3rd round was close, and I think the 3rd round could have gone either way, and I think that's where most of the judges might have seen the tide start turning, where Reyes started slowing down, and then John started walking down his opponent, started having control of the ring, got a few takedowns, and then in the 4th and 5th round was all John Jones, just relentless pressure, and that is what you expect from the champ, and that is ultimately, I think, what got him the unanimous decision at the end. And I think the championship rounds is what won John this fight. And obviously it's a 5-round fight. but the last two rounds sort of stick in your mind the most, and that's perhaps why he won this fight. You know, I know there were some people in the crowd or whatever that didn't think that John won that fight, but I just thought that he did enough to win it. You know, the judging has been a bit dodgy of late, and you know, when they've got boxing judges judging UFC fights, it's always going to be tough. And I was hearing the commentators after the fight saying that there's so many different people with their own set of rules that want to be the one that controls it, but ultimately they need to all come together and find one rule system and use one system for everyone, because that's going to be more fair, because fighters have to prepare differently if they want to fight in New York or Las Vegas or Texas or wherever. So the judging is a bit of an issue at the moment, and they need to come up with a plan. But you know, according to these judges, and I don't think many would argue that John Jones won this fight, even though it was very, very close, and Dominic Reyes did push him all the way. And I think Dominic Reyes is one to look out for the future. He could be a future champ at light heavyweight if John decides to move on and go to heavyweight. Just last thing on the John Jones fight. John Jones now overtakes George St. Pierre with 14 title defenses. That is absolutely phenomenal from John Jones, and why many consider him to be the GOAT, the greatest of all time in the sport. And I doubt anyone will argue with that now. He is the man to beat. He's beaten everyone in the light heavyweight division. He plans to go up to heavyweight. I'm not sure when that'll be. He said he's going to celebrate now and talk to his people. And we'll see. Maybe we'll see a fight in the very near future with John Jones in the heavyweight division. I would love to see that. There's some crazy fights that I would love to see. For starters, obviously, you can look no further than him and I forget the guy's name now. Anyway, but you know, if you're looking for people, Francis Ngannou, he's a great heavyweight at the moment, and there's a few others in the heavyweight division that, you know, might give John a run for his money, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that one. And that is pretty much all I have for you guys today. Thanks for joining me once again, guys. Get those comments in below. I'd love to hear from you. If there's anything else you would like me to cover, I would gladly do so for you guys. Before I go, don't forget to like this video, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification button so you can get all the latest from Clinton's Corner, the Fair Digest, and all we have to offer for you guys. And that's it from me. Have a fantastic week, guys, and I will see you on Wednesday with the Wild Protea after the T20 game. Cheers, guys. Have a good one.